to be. I'd like to take a few minutes just again to say welcome. Also, I know things are different in terms of where we're seated in a room, but I think the Civic Center did a tremendous job of making sure that we were safe here. But after our program, if you would continue to network, it's fine. Maybe spaced out and all the good things, but just continue to network with each other because we haven't seen each other in quite a while. Also, if you have not had a chance to check out this awesome display here, our Oconee Welcome Center has a great display of Oconee branded items, and if you will walk up with your cell phone, you can scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to the online gift shop. You can shop from there. You can either have the items shipped to your home or business or to a friend, or you can stop by the Welcome Center, which is adjacent to the courthouse. And Christy Curtis, who's here with us today, and her co-worker Joanne will be happy to assist you with picking up your items. And they may even have other items there to choose from. So please don't forget to stop by on your way out and check those out. Without further ado, I want to welcome Chairman John Daniel up to the podium. He's going to share a little bit about what happened last year. Bless you for leading us all in a world of chaos and uncertainty, but you did it so well. And he'll also share where we look as we go forward to 2020. So again, Chairman John Daniel.
Right, again, thank you very much for coming out. Do want to recognize a few of our guests today. We have Commissioner Mark Saxon's here with us, and also Commissioner Andrew Harden. From the city of Watkins, we have Brian Broderick and Christine Tucker. Thank you all for coming. We have Superintendent Jason Branch here with us. Also, Board Member Kim Hargo, Board Member Amy Parrish, and Board Member Michael Ransom. Thank you all so much for coming out. So as Courtney mentioned, just over a year ago, we had our previous State of the County address. It was fairly sparsely attended because I think it was the next day the announcement was made. The school systems were closing. Parks and Rec programs were canceled that next day as well. The court systems started shutting down, and our Civic Center lost a lot of events that same week. And to top that off, campaign season was kicking off for elections. So, and people were genuinely scared about what was about to happen. I heard from others that would call me concerned that their kid with special medical issues would not have beds when they needed them. Spouses of people that had terminal illnesses were calling. They lost their entire support network. Home health care was limited. Their friends weren't able to come over and help. So a lot of tough and painful things went on during that time. Every day brought new challenges and new questions about what was going to happen next. But throughout the unknowns, the Oconee County Sheriff's Office continued to provide service. Oconee Fire Rescue volunteers continue to answer your calls for help. And our area hospitals continue to make adjustments and sacrifices to provide care for our people in our region. Board of Commissioners continue to meet. We not only were able to provide virtual viewing, but virtual engagement with your government during this time. And so here we are, basically a year later. We had 54 people registered to attend this meeting. The Oconee County school system continues to operate with in-person learning options since the scheduled start of school. Yesterday we had a great dedication of a Blue Star Memorial marker honoring members of the Armed Forces and Gold Star Memorial marker honoring Gold Star family in front of the courthouse with well over 50 people in attendance there. If you drive by Oconee Veterans Park or the Oconee Middle School microfields, you'll see them full of young people being cheered on by very enthusiastic fans. I have a granddaughter playing soccer for the first time. It's always exciting to watch the difference in the age groups. When you go into the younger, the parents are very intense. As your kids get older, you kind of relax a little bit, so there's a lot of difference. Everybody at that age thinks their kids getting their contract, so. I mean, the first game, one dad just got up, so he just walked off and couldn't watch the game. Okay. But best of all, I get to continue as chairman of the Oconee County Board of Commissioners for another term. So thank you very much for that honor. do want to kind of mention right quick that Oconee County's Unity in the Community is partnering with University Cancer and Blood Center to offer a mass COVID-19 vaccination day. The goal will be for them to vaccinate up to 50 people per half hour. These vaccinations will take place here at the Oconee County Civic Center. And the dates are April 17th for the first shot and May 8th for the second shot. You will be required to register to attend, and those registration links should be available sometime next week, and we'll do a big push out for that. But that's very exciting to have members of the community come together to do that. All right, we'll kind of get into our normal slide presentations. The current fiscal year revenues were budgeted at $31.2 million. When we started budgeting, that was prior to the COVID-19, so we basically had to go back and readjust. So we're at $31.2 billion in revenue. Very conservative on the revenue estimates since the unknowns of the economic development, the COVID-19 economic impact was unknown. As you can see, property tax continues to be at 54% of our revenue. This is real property, personal property, and TABT, which is your tag tax. Local option sales tax is at 20%. We budgeted very low for that, not understanding when you had businesses closing down, we had no idea what was going to happen with sales tax. We'll not hit our goal for charges for services with cancellation of parks and recs programs during the thing. And with our court system shut down, we're likely not hit our goal for fines and forfeitures as well. But revenue was projected at 2.4% higher from the previous fiscal year. And it's no coincidence that our revenues and our expenses match to the dollar. Our biggest department or office is the sheriff's office, representing 28% of the budget, followed by public works and parks and rec. Parks and rec is a little bit skewed because they do bring in a great deal of revenue, so that's not your net expenditure for them. So when we take sheriff's office, court, and public safety, 41% of our expenses are related to keeping people and property safe. During the budget process, we did not budget a step increase for our employees. Taxation with the property appraiser and tax commissioner represents $1.3 million. That's the shared expense between the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Education. And then if you did notice, we had an enormous amount of elections last year. So we'll be doing a very substantial budget amendment to that operation. So in addition to the new budget, new voting machines, an additional expense there, and then the staffing and the additional and we have a bill that's about to be signed that's probably going to call for additional increases in that budget as well. During the pandemic time, Governor Kent made two important decisions that had a tremendous positive impact for not only Oconee County, but all of our local government authorities. The first decision was to allow phase 1 of the CARES Act to flow through to the local governments, and that resulted in $1.8 million for Oconee County. In addition, there was a sales tax audit. They were billed an error in reporting from a statewide retailer. So what was happening was the local portion of the taxes was being reported as a state tax. So the state got all that revenue. It's very substantial, several $100,000 worth of sales tax for Oconee County in our local option special purpose and also our educational. So they were reported inadvertently to the state. The error was caught, and to the governor's credit, he went back and corrected that. Otherwise, we would have never known it happened. So that was a great shot in the arm to help us get through this time. The Board of Education did benefit from that decision as well with extra DLOS dollars. With the $1.8 million that we got from the CARES Act, we were able to work with the Board of Education, provide over $100,000 of funding back to them for COVID-19 expenses. Air churches working together received $20,000 as well as OARC, which provides meals for kids during the summer and and after school and over the weekends as well. We're able to pay off capital leases and installment sales. We're going to be doing a lot of bridge maintenance. Over $1.5 million in additional local road maintenance will be done. Historic structures will be improved, and we'll have equity adjustment. We've approved an equity adjustment for our employees. Tax data digest. Here's some good news and some bad news. Existing property values continue to rise, so your major investment is gaining value. So if your existing property values continue to rise, and your November tax bill is based on those values. So we understand that each year the amount you're writing to the Oconee County Tax Commissioner is increasing, and we are sensitive to that, and we do our best to maintain a level millage rate that has not increased in several years, and it's one of the 6 lowest for county operations in the state or there's only 6 other counties that have a lower millage rate. We're going to continue to work to gain efficiency in every aspect of our operation and to develop and implement our strategic plan. Personnel, there's no magic number we have for the number of personnel. We're about having the right number of people doing the right thing. The number of full-time employees does have the biggest impact on our budget each year, though. So open positions are reviewed prior to being filled to make sure they still fit, they have the right workload and the right salary. The hardest thing to do with the Board of Commissioners and during budget season is to add additional personnel. We're implementing operational efficiency studies. We're starting in mid-April, and that will be with our finance department as well as water resources. And then we hope if that program goes well, we will implement that for adding additional personnel. So when it comes time to add personnel, you're going to be required to go through this operational efficiency review. And healthcare is one of our biggest challenges, like many of you in the room. That cost continues to go up annually. We've spent a lot of time trying to improve our benefit to our employees and also maintaining cost or keeping costs under control. A couple of years ago, we went to a health savings account model, and that was very effective. And we also have a wellness program where we incentivize people to participate in the wellness program, and they get discounts as well on their insurance. Our annual salary increases are tied to performance, and we're working on a program where we can provide a financial merit payments to our top performers each year. Residential permits, we had 251 issued the last fiscal year. 250 to 299 is kind of our sweet spot for residential permits. Once you start hitting 350, the school system starts raising their hand. You see in 2015, we were at 355. In 2016, we had a lot of meetings with the Board of Education then. And it's just it's just hard to maintain facilities at that level. Also, it impacts the governing authority as well on the impact. So if we hang between 250 and 299, we feel like we're doing really well. We don't have a whole lot of control over that. We still have over nearly 2,000 zoned but undeveloped lots that were created in the early 2000s out there. And there are a lot of reasons why a lot of people want to come to Oconee County. So it's balancing that growth is tough. That's our 2017 strategic plan included improving broadband in Oconee County. In 2020, the county entered into an agreement with Smart City Capital to bridge the broadband gap in Oconee. Smart City Capital is working with the other investors that are listed on the board here. With the pandemic, it heightened additional needs for broadband in Oconee for education, health care, and also for teleworking. Our goal is for the entire county to have broadband service in 3 years. And make no mistake, that is a very aggressive goal. The project aims to deliver at least 50 megabits per second over air, and with 1 gig up to 10 gigs for direct wired users. Due to our rural nature and larger lots that creates longer distance between lots. Every property will not receive a direct wire connection without some participation from the property owner. So our goal is to have Oconee County be the most connected community in the area, and also a model of how to bridge the rural digital divide. So we plan to be the flagship for the state on how to operate. We're very happy today to have a representative with us on our team. Mr. Oscar Bodie's here, and he's doing some research out today to help us keep things moving. Transportation. We got a heap of stuff going on with transportation. And I think it was my granddad used to tell me a story about the rooster and the hen was standing on the side of Highway 53. And the hen looks at the rooster and says, "I'm going to lay an egg in the middle of the road." And he was like, "Why would you do that?" I just want to try it. So I'm going to give you one piece of advice. Lay it on the line and do it quick. So don't try to do that with We outsourced a vacant portion of roadside mowing for this upcoming year. This will free up crews to do other roadway and bridge maintenance, and also will get us additional litter pickups through the county. We're also partnering, Clean Vehicle does a great job of trying to keep up with the litter. We have the Sheriff's Office partnership where they're taking community services workers out as well. Experiment Station road widening. You'll see dirt moving soon. This is from Butler's Crossing to the 441 bridge. So the contract has been let. E.R. Snell is the low bidder, and they will be released to get started very soon. Now, in case you have forgotten about how painful it was for Mars Hill construction, you're about to be reminded for this next section. But also remember about how pleasant it is to go down Mars Hill Road now. And we hope to do the same type of beautification things along the new sector as we did along Mars Hill Road. If you haven't ridden down there in the last few weeks, please do. Everything's greening up and blooming. Dr. Mike Durr was a big help in getting that done. Arnold Stewart Cofer also helped with the trees, going out selecting them himself to pick them up. So. We have a phasing plan for Hog Mountain Road. That will be from Butler's Crossing to Lake Wellbrook Road. And we're going to start on a portion of that hopefully in the next few weeks. We're going to extend the travel lanes from 12 Oaks to Lake Wellbrook Road. If you've driven that road very often, you know it's very narrow. There's a lot of drop-offs. So we're doing our best to get a 12-foot travel lane on each side and come in with an overlay to have a smooth road. We feel like the traffic on that road will pick up once construction starts. The second phase will be doing something similar from the end of the construction up to 12 Oaks Drive with some turn lanes and extended lane widths there as well. And the ultimate goal is to have walking paths from Butler Crossing all the way down to Lake Wellbrook Road. And that'll be the third phase of that section. We're trying to partner with the University of Georgia and their engineering group to look at Union Church Road all the way back to Butler's Crossing to come up with some ideas on how to improve traffic flow and some of the issues that everybody experiences every day traveling that section of the roadway. So hopefully they can come up with some good ideas and we can look at some implementation in the future. State Route 53 at Union Church Road. We've been working with DOT since I've been on the commission about trying to get an intersection improvement there. We are very close to meeting the warrants. We think we're at a point where GDOT is prepared to move forward, and if we can figure out the final few things in the step, we hope to have an agreement before the Board of Commissioners in the next 30 to 45 days to put a traffic control device there. The scoring for roundabout versus traffic light are very close together, and just based on the limited right-of-way that's there, probably it's going to end up being a traffic light at that location. State Route 53 at Malcolm Bridge and Ray's Church Road. If you travel that area very much, you know that's a very tough intersection. There's been 2 injury accidents there in the last 2 weeks. That is scheduled for roundabout that is currently under engineering. Under this agreement, in partnership with the Department of Transportation, we're providing right-of-way and engineering, and they're going to provide construction and utility relocation. Also, at State Route 53, Rocky Branch, Snows Mill, was an injury accident there last week as well, right after school let out, or actually during school let out. So that's kind of the same situation. We're providing engineering and right-of-way. The state's going to provide additional money for construction and utility relocation. We're also working with the Department of Transportation on La Vista at 441. This intersection is under review for some intersection improvements as well. Back over toward 316, we have the Oconee connector, which will be a full interchange, which is being engineered right now. Virtual Langford Road will be a flyover, so when I say full interchange, that means there will be a bridge over 316 with on and off ramps, and a flyover will just be a bridge access over the 316. Also, Jimmy Daniel Road will be a full interchange. Those projects have been bundled together by the Department of Transportation and will be under construction from 2024 to 2027. Again, we have Julian Drive, which will be a flyover scheduled for 2028. Mars Hill Road will be a flyover scheduled for 2027. McNutt Creek Road will be a flyover scheduled for 2026. And Dials Mill and Dials Mill Extension will be a full interchange combination in 2024 and 2025. And we've had several accidents in the last month at McNutt Creek and Dials Mill. So you may see some activity with some quick response money to try to limit those accidents that are occurring right now. Department of Transportation had a project to add passing lanes on Highway 15 in Oconee County. The lanes in Oconee County have been abandoned, and they are putting those lanes in Greene County, and so they should be starting construction on them in the next 2 to 3 years. We have a major investment by the state on bridges in Oconee County. The Highway 186 bridge in High Shoals has a potential lay date right now of October 2022. So that bridge will be torn down and reconstructed with modern engineering and road widths. Also, the Clockfilter Road Bridge will be taken out and replaced. The potential let date for that is June of 2022. So there'll be major detours for those two areas at approximately the same time. And of course, all that fun time with the other construction that's going on. So we're working on a technical road rating study and also to develop a paving plan for Oconee County. We've had some meetings at the beginning of the year to talk about our strategic plan for the next 4 years, and one of the things that was mentioned was a T-Splost. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that over the next few months as we investigate it, and most likely we'll come to the citizens asking for a 1% sales tax for T-Splost. That would help us do some of these major intersection improvements that we're talking about and give our paving program a real shot in the arm. Right now we're not paving enough to kind of keep up with what we need to do to get to a true life cycle management of our roads. And that's showing some of the roads you drive, you can tell where you have areas that are crumbling or have mud coming up through. So real focus on getting that straightened out. Parks and Rec, they had a huge impact of COVID-19, canceling, I think, spring and summer programs. They're getting a good. We're going to continue implementation of the Parks Master Plan with additional tennis courts and entrance and exit improvements for OVP. So if you're one of the ones watching your kid out there at OVP, you know, getting out when all the soccer teams let out is quite challenging. As part of a negotiation, we have gained right-of-way access back to the Parkside road system. We're currently working on concept plans on how to get the park exit to match up with that. And so hopefully over the next few years we can gain access to that and improve that intersection. We continue to invest in our preventive maintenance at the parks. We're spending steady money on our turf fields. I don't know if you've noticed the difference, but they're spending a lot of time and effort to keep those fields up. We're trying to expand that to the rest of the park. We've been talking about this for a while as well. Nothing worse than riding by a park and seeing red mud showing through on the side. So I like to point to our friends at Georgia Power on Prince Avenue. If you drive through the summer and go by their lawn, I want the entire park to look like that. Not saying I'm going to fund it to that level, but that's what I want it to look like. Tourism and Visitor Bureau, this is our first full year of that structure, and we're really excited about what this structure can bring to Oconee County. Unfortunately, first year, hotel motel tax has virtually disappeared. When you have a pandemic and nobody comes to a hotel, it's tough to get the tax. So they've done a great job. They've been busy making changes to the Welcome Center, and also we got the county swag that they mentioned. We hope you'll participate in that today. There's been a huge change to our visitoconee.com, and they've got a lot of really good programs in store for us for the next year. Senior Center, again, thanks to Governor Kemp, Oconee County received $750,000 in CDBG grants from the Department of Community Affairs. This will allow for expansion of the Senior Center for our growing population there. Bidding is underway for that construction project. And while COVID-19 has forced the closing of the Senior Center, our staff has been busy with a huge increase in the number of home-delivered meals. So we're trying to get the resources out to our vulnerable population so they have something to eat. Everyone is really excited about the expansion and can't wait to get back to the normal programming. Planning code enforcement, there's been a lot of activity in this department over the last year. Rewriting the PDC based on our comp plan update. And before you know it, the next year or two, we'll be working on a 5-year updated comp plan again. That's part of our strategic plan. And a lot of investment in technology. So online submittal of plans, there's a way to review electronically within the department and send it back out so we're not getting these big sheets of paper and have to scan them in and make notes on them. And also electronic document storage. And then as things are starting to pick up, it takes a lot of resources to answer the questions on how to, I want to do this with my property and what's the best method to do that. So they're staying very busy. Future administrative building is a long-awaited project. It's been discussed since the early 2000s on how to separate court system from the administrative branch of the government. And if you want to see what impact it has, that's been going on this week. As courts are back in full swing, and we're having a murder trial underway right now. It does impact the families that are involved in these things, as well as trying to operate a business office. So this will provide a consolidation of our buildings, and that will reduce our maintenance and operation expenses in the future. This will provide better access for our citizens. So the tax commissioner, along with all VOC staff, will be leaving the courthouse. Annex employees, ward building, and election office will also be coming to the new location. So we have it up on the screen there, right, 441 and 0441. We have that corner purchased. We have an RFP that will be issued in the next 3 weeks to start design services for the building. Water resources. This is our new water tower. Very interesting process to watch. You kind of saw it going under construction and generated quite the number of questions. My favorite story, though, is an elderly lady came up to me and asked me, what is that going up on 441? And I said, it's a nuclear missile site. And she says, oh, okay. And she started walking off. So I stopped her. I said, no, ma'am, it's a water tower. A water tower? Why do we need a water tower? Hydrant testing remains to be a high priority for water resources to make sure that they have water testing required. Our PM activities are picking up and will continue to increase over the next couple of years, trying to replace pipes before they get to the point that they're starting to break. Our water supply is very strong. Again, the folks that came before us, Chairman Wendell Dawson, and created the Bear Creek Reservoir Authority, and that group is still together working, and it's been kind of amazing to be part of that. Let's see. Call Street design services have been awarded. We're looking to expand to 3 million gallons per day for sewer treatment that will require discharge to the middle Oconee River. We're also investigating gray water possibilities. That's going to help water the park so it looks like Georgia Power on Prince Avenue. And we also are going to be investigating the compost program. So depending on the cost of all that, some of this may be phased in. As you may have heard, there's some additional Relief Act money that's become available to cities and counties. The initial reports indicate that Oconee County share of that would be $7.8 million. We're not sure what we can do with that money or what strings are attached to it. We're going to be watching that very closely. Initial indications show that possibly infrastructure such as roads, water projects, and broadband would qualify under that. So if that remains the same, we'll see. That's really going to help us move forward with the treatment plant and broadband expansion in Oconee County. Public safety. Earlier or the end of last year, we worked with the Sheriff's Office for an E911 upgrade, and that system will go live in the E911 Center next week. So we're working toward the next generation 911 system that the state's going to be implementing. So we're well ahead of the curve with this upgrade here. Station 5 on Highway 15 received a bay expansion, and they had to do a bay expansion because they got a new fire engine that was coming. That's a picture of the new engine. So the size of a fire engine now and the way it used to be when that station was built, the engine would not fit in the station, so we decided we'd take it on the bay. We've had new extrication equipment that's been put on our trucks, and we also have Lucas devices deployed. We did a partnership with National EMS, so we have 2 CPR machines on 2 of the ambulances in Oconee County, as well as 2 of our rescue trucks. And as in the past, SPLOST will be a huge contributor to keep our volunteers with top-notch equipment. Animal services is another item we've been talking about for a long time. When I first came on board in 2009, we were about ready to, the staff there at the time said we need $60,000 to improve the animal shelter. So we're about ready to pull the trigger on that, and then everybody knows what happened later that year with the recession and drop down. So that was put on hold. We were able in 2015, thank you to the voters, to approve the SPLOST to allow for $750,000 improvement to that building. That is underway now. There's been an additional $200,000 from general fund participation approved by the Board of Commissioners for the animal shelter. So it's going to be really nice. We hope to invite you out to a ribbon cutting in the next several weeks. So with that, we go to my favorite part, and that's where we open it up to any questions you have. That's where we can judge really what's on your mind and if we're kind of headed in the right direction. So if anybody would like to ask a question, this is your opportunity.
As we are looking at all of the road work that is going to be taking place over the next few years, how practically, like the flyways that are on Route 16, meaning you can't just turn on Julian Drive anymore, you just can't turn. I'm just wondering how that's going to impact things and if there are maps and ways just for people to anticipate traffic flow, not just during construction, but just moving forward once everything's actually completed.
Yeah, a lot of the detailed plans have not been developed yet. That's going to be one of the things. There'll be some informational meetings as part of the DOT process where all that will be put out there. Here's what we're thinking we're going to do. And then they'll hear from the citizens and make adjustments. You know, some things are going to be pretty cut and dry. There's not a whole lot you can do there. But there will be plans put forward, and we'll receive public comment on those as time goes through. There's no easy way to put it. It's going to be rough. 2024 to 27. Just go up in the middle of the night and you gotta go.
So, John, last year, the Parks and Rec Department had to cancel the 4th of July activities. Any word on if we're going to have that this year?
No, not this time. There's still uncertainty with, there's still a governor's order in effect. as of right now, there will not be a 4th of July hosted by the Parks and Rec program.
Do you have any, excuse me, information about the proposal for the new construction on Mars Hill? About the Publix and stuff like that? I know that's still under.
Yeah, so there's a piece of property that's currently zoned as business, and the owners of that property are coming back for a rezone. That is a pending hearing coming up for the Board of Commissioners as well as the Planning Commission. Not really a whole lot we can say about that, just, you can tune in virtually to watch the Planning Commission. Other than that, we can't really say a whole lot.
That's this month, correct?
Ma'am?
That's this month.
At the end, middle of April, to go for the Planning Commission, will be before the Board of Commissioners on April 6th, I believe.
Hey, John, back to roads. There's been some curiosity in the community with Experiment Station Road going from Butler's Crossing to the 441 Bridge. And you and I talked about this before the meeting, but can you kind of explain, because folks are wondering, well, is it going to go from 441 Bridge to Doty's, kind of where it kind of stops there in town?
Yeah, so many years ago, it was divided up into 3 phases. The first phase is now complete, we're on phase 2. The third phase goes into the city limits of Watkinsville. There are some rough concepts and maybe some design done on what that road's gonna look at from the bridge back into the city. The city of Watkinsville will have an opportunity to look at those plans and make whatever adjustments they want to in cooperation with DOT. So that's on the drawing board in the future. We're not sure what that's going to look like and when that may happen at this point. Yes, sir.
Two-part question. Heard some rumors as far as speed zone changes on the Mars Hill Phase 1 section. Could you speak to that? And then also you mentioned the 2 potential roundabouts on Highway 53. What would that look like as far as things that are changing?
Right. So speeds are very challenging, not only for the Board of Commissioners, but also the Sheriff's Office. There's one law in the state of Georgia that says you cannot exceed the posted speed limit. There are 23 laws that tell you how to enforce that one law. So it's based on how fast people travel on the roadway. So if you continue to fly down Mars Hill Road, you're going to put us in a position of having to raise the speed limit in order to have enforcement. So just go 45. It's not that bad. So it's really, the people kind of determine what the speed limit roads are set. We can go in and make Mars Hill Road a 35-mile-an-hour road if we really wanted to. Unfortunately, there would be no enforcement mechanism for that. So the Sheriff's Office would be unable to run radar unless we meet all the aspects of those 23 laws. So that's kind of what we're up against with speed. So if, y'all see how fast people are going, and we need y'all's help to slow down, to stop a lot of accidents. All kind of bad things happen when you increase your speed. As far as roundabouts, their standard engineering on what speeds are through the roundabouts and how far back those speed limits will start dropping. So there will be definitely speed reductions approaching those intersections, which is definitely not all bad, especially with the schools there at the Rocky Branch, Snowsville. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that residential permanent sweet spot like 250 to 299. As a resident of northern Oconee, I see, it seems like the 40 is there. Do you see it swelling in certain areas here in the south? Obviously, it being more rural.
Yeah, that's a direct agreement with our comp plan. So really, most of the growth is scheduled for up in the northern regions, and the south of the region is scheduled to be mainly rural area. So that's where most of the growth will be focused. Not to say there won't be some expansion in the south, but that's been the comp plan. The comprehensive map has not changed much since it was created about 50 years ago. That's kind of the way things should look. It's been consistently reaffirmed. Even our last update reaffirmed what direction the county's been headed in for a long time. So yeah, you'll see more activity north than you will south.
When should I move? I don't want to get too big.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Everybody in this room, we have people that showed up at different times in their life. And, you know, I can remember when Butler's Crossing was a four-way stop. If you wanted milk and bread, you had to go to the Golden Pantry, not the one that's there now, but the old one. We thought we were uptown when a Hardy showed up. So, like I said, there's a lot of reasons why people want to come to Oconee County, and zoning is our toughest challenge as commissioners. We're trying to balance property rights. You know, you've got families that have been here for generations that have farmed, and now they can't farm anymore because land prices are up, or, you know, there's one family that were running cattle, subdivision came in next door, and kids from the subdivision would cut the wire on the fences so they could ride their four-wheelers to the pastures. And then 2 o'clock in the morning, they get the phone call, well, the cows are out, your cows are out, and you come get them. And so there's all kind of pressures as things start to grow. So how do you tell that family, okay, you can't cash out and take care of your family? And then balancing the rights of the people that are already here. You know, we had a real tough rezone, you know, last time we met at the beginning of the month. It's a tough challenge. We are following the comp plan, and that's really how the citizens tell us what they want for the county to look like. And that's what we follow. Stuart?
John, do you have a number, comparison of businesses that closed this past year versus open?
No, I do not. Sorry, I don't have that information. We try to get that. I don't know, the impact of Oconee County has not been as severe as surrounding areas. Our citizens really supported our restaurants when they had to go to carry out. And we have a great support group. I mean, people are willing to help each other, and it's kind of amazing as much as the community's grown. It used to be that way back in the old days, but that really has not changed a lot, even when our increased population. So as people are like-minded and continue to come to the community, it's been real refreshing to see that in place. Yes, sir.
One more question about transportation. So I live closer to Strickland, 7853. That's a pretty high congestion area right there as well. Any plans with DOT with that, turn lanes, et cetera?
No, there's nothing on the books that I'm aware of. Their last improvement, when we started implementing the flashing yellows, made a huge improvement to that intersection. But there's certain times of the day it's just going to be rough to get through there. I'm not sure there's a whole lot they can do or will do anytime in the future. The concentration is mainly 316 now, and then with us being able to partner at some of our more challenging intersections, it's going to be how we move forward for a long time. Yes, ma'am.
So Herschel's Park, when are they scheduled to start taking the view down, the new playground and field and all that? When is that?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but we can chat with the city council members that are here. I know they have a plan, and I think it's still under development, but the city council is working hard on getting that done. Last chance, any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts? With that, thank you very much for coming. It's been great seeing everybody, and thank you for your support.